Team ban.
Alright, hello and welcome back everyone here to CEVO Season 4 Preseason in Game 2 in a best of 3 between Bag of Chips and Pepperoni versus Los Meepos Hermanos. I'm Helium and with me is Chicago Ted.
Hey guys, this is So game 1 was a decent game. Bag of Chips and Pepperoni is showing a lot of life, but Los Meepos Hermanos really bringing on the pain, especially as the game started going later. And they're going to go ahead and pick up the Bristleback again, the hero that they dominated so well with. What do you think Bag of Chips and Pepperoni have to do differently this time, just to make sure that it's not going to be a problem?
Well, they've already started by banning out the Viper, and they're going to go ahead and first pick the Invoker for themselves, so at least takes away 2 of the heroes that were very, very key in Los Meepos Hermanos' lineup for Game 1. The Slark ban stays the same, taking out the Clockwork on the side of the Meepos, and it's going to be Timbersaw taking the fall, and immediately 2 very strong picks coming out after that.
Yeah, we see the Outer World Devourer has made his way into this game once again. He has seen a lot of hate or a lot of being ignored a lot in the recent meta, but now he's back. He's looking to make a vengeance, and with Crystal Maiden and now Nyx being banned out, a very smart ban, by the way, as well as Razor, that's going to leave Outer World Devourer a nice open lane so far to farm. Viper was already taken out, so most of his counters are gone.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a big reason that they went for the OD, because, one, he's got the Astral Imprisonment, as you like to call it, sort of a banishment type spell, which actually will... one of the few spells that will disjoint the Unstable Concoction. They banned out one of the counters, so Los Meepos Hermanos can target that Razor, as, interestingly enough, Dazzle gets banned out. He is quite good, but we're not going to see in this game. Unfortunately, I would have loved to, but Alchemist and Rubik is going to be the support duo, which should be very strong. It will be very good in a defensive tri-lane, and it's going to roam effectively as Visage comes out here by Los Meepos.
I think it's good to note that Dazzle is absolutely incredibly strong with Bristleback. When you have a Bristleback that can't die, then things get very hairy for if you're going against that. So a very smart ban, in my opinion. But Visage, Rubik, those 2 heroes, supports that we've seen a lot nowadays. Visage is going to be the one that we're going to be watching a little bit more, as he is with the Bristleback OD combo. There's a lot of potential there to deal a lot of damage in the Soul Assumption. Should be able to go out and about and do a lot. So actually a Darkseer will get picked up, and you know, I haven't seen this guy in absolutely forever, but now it looks like they might be trying to give him a little bit of a comeback here on the side of BCP.
Indeed. Well, it's still a great offlaner. The offlaner, of course, did get a little bit easier in 6.79 because of where the creep equilibrium starts, and he still has the potential to leave the offlane in jungle if it's rough. And his Surge pretty good against heroes like the Viper, like the Venomancer, like Bristleback, or any really slow-oriented lineup rather than just hard stun, because Surge will completely ignore any of that, so we'll see how they can get it done. And let's not forget that Vacuum Unstable Concoction combination that Alchemist and Darkseer are going to be able to run here, potentially, if they get a chance, because we already see the Bristleback, a very aggressive Visage pickup, and based on the next 2 picks from Los Meepos Hermanos, maybe another strong, aggressive tri-lane.
Yep, and on heroes that go very well with Bags of Chips and Pepperoni, they could run the Alchemist as a support, as you said, well, I think you said, but Alchemist and Rubik supports, and they could pick up another carry. They could also pick up a potential support to go with an Alchemist Rubik and have the Alch be the carry. And that could be possibly the Jakiro comeback, as we've seen Jakiro Darkseer, a very popular combo back in the day. And he gives such a good setup for other stuns that, I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch, interesting to see if they go for that. And maybe some nice wombo combos coming out on the side of Bag of Chips and Pepperoni. Meanwhile, those people, Meepos Hermanos, I keep saying I'm wanting to say Los Polos Hermanos, but yeah, they're looking to pick up their 4th pick, and they've got their kind of tanky core solo hero if they decide to run him like that, which they did in the last game. They've got their potential mid hero and a support, so we could see the Venomancer, the Windrunner, of course. I wasn't expecting that one, but I will act like I was. that could be coming out with a Visage. And now both teams looking to pick up their last hero. What do you think we'll be seeing on the side of Los Meepos Hermanos?
Well, I really hope the Wind Ranger isn't support. It doesn't. I mean, it does do well on that role, but the win rate isn't actually all that high. What I'd like to see is rather Wind Ranger farming in the aggressive tri-lane, so maybe picking up another ranged support, and just with a ton of poke there. Long-range spells with the Soul Assumption as well as the Power Shot. No one can really run. Bristleback, once again, will probably find himself in that solo safe lane, which leaves Outworld Devourer to go to the mid lane, so one more support. What could it be? Shadow Shaman? Or not Shadow Shaman. Well, yeah, okay. Shadow Shaman would be okay, but also Shadow Demon wouldn't be too bad either. The disruption to set up the shackle.
Oh, we could definitely see that. Disruption would make the whole Outworld Devourer Shadow Demon combo really annoying to deal with.
It is annoying.
Those disruptions happening everywhere, or as again I like to call them, the banishment spells happening everywhere, disjointing nearly everything that Bag of Chips and Pepperoni have to throw. If you can get one of those spells off as you're being pulled in by the Darkseer's vacuum, then you can block out a lot of the ensuing wombo combo. And now with Lifestealer being taken out, a smart ban out on their side, as Lifestealer would, with that infest damage, would make the Darkseer's vacuum really a strong combo. But it looks like Bag of Chips and Pepperoni, they're going to actually... Oh.
Radiant team, pick.
Oh, I should have seen that one coming.
Also pretty good with the vacuum and the presence of the Dark Lord armor reduction with the Alchemist, who's going to have a medallion as well as the acid spray. It's going to make Bristleback staying alive somewhat difficult, even with his passive rightfully named Bristleback.
If they can get that combo off, which is the Darkseer into the concoction, the telekinesis to increase that stun damage, and Invoker and Shadow Fiend whacking at them with all sorts of AoE. I don't see Los Meepos Hermanos, even with the Bristleback, going to be able to live through that.
Well, if this tri-lane here of Vengeful Spirit, Wind Ranger, and Visage does well enough, it might not matter if Los Meepos Hermanos can snowball very quickly out of the lane, as we're going to get this game started here.
Yeah, that's a lot of range damage, actually, that can come out from that. For those three heroes, Cryojar already a very strong hero, as well as Wind Runner and Venge, having very high early base damages, and it looks like they're not going to go for that. It's going to be a tri-lane with the Bristleback, and, whoa, what's going on here?
Well, I'm not sure. It looks like it may just be a Wind Ranger in the off-lane. Visage is, I think he's just going to place a ward. They do hand one over to Watashiwa, so I thought maybe he could handle the warding up there, but Kriegar maybe going to put one in the mid lane, and it will just be a defensive lane with no snitching on the Bristleback. But let's, I guess, introduce the teams. I'll go again over to the Dire quickly. We've got Shredder now correctly tagged up here. He's going to be playing the Invoker. His supports, they will be Tabo on the Alchemist, Nusham on the Rubik. Of course, they've got the smoke. They want to gank early. They want to get Jenkins here ahead this game. He's going to be playing the Shadow Fiend, as in the bottom lane, well, Darkseer, Factor Fiction already showing his face, behind the Tier 1 tower there.
Yeah, when we rotated to Shadow Fiend, Jenkins, I thought he was a tower. To be honest, I looked and I couldn't find him. I saw his name, but I could not see him. And then I realized, oh wait, the tower is behind him. But meanwhile, with all those shenanigans, we have for Los Meepos Hermanos, the team that's one up in this best of 3 series right now, looking to secure a 2-0. We have Game Blouses going to be playing the Vengeful Spirit. It's going to be no snitching on the Bristleback. We have Kriegar on the Visage. Squee will be playing the Outer World Devourer here. And Watashi wa Hellfire is going to be on one of my personal favorite heroes, the Wind Ranger. Of course, sporting my favorite bow, the Lyrela's Breeze.
Oh, you know what? That's my least favorite bow, because I already had one, and then I opened a new Bloom chest, and it gave me another one, and I'm very upset.
I will take it off your hands if you don't want it.
We'll see what happens. But this mid lane, I think Jenkins, once he gets a couple last hits, it shouldn't be really too hard for him. But Squee, if he gets enough Astral Imprisonment, upon hitting level 6, he should be able to get a pretty easy kill. But that's still going to be a while out. I'm sure supports will rotate through the mid lane way before then.
Up in top lane, actually, there was a beautiful initiation out onto Calfire or Watashi. and Tabo actually hit himself with the unstable concoction.
Well, sometimes it happens. It's not pretty when it does. Luckily for him, we missed it. So
He was just on the outside of the cat. He was just in range too. So, I mean, that was a little bit unfortunate. That would have definitely been first blood if he had hit that one. Very unfortunate. And Junkins actually going to be able to get a couple last hits. I need to take a look at the score. No, he actually doesn't pick any up with his only raise. He's not going to be able to throw another one out for a very long time. He finally gets his first one, and there is some extra damage for him. So kudos to the Shadow Fiend. Watashi Cal-Fire throwing out the Wind Run way early, is actually going to get hit up by everything. The body block's happening. Throws out the Tango to try to eat through, but she's just being blocked everywhere. And now, a couple more auto attacks, one more from the Rubik. Will it be enough? It will. New Sham getting the first blood, and an absolute relentless display of body block coming out from the BCP supports.
yeah, that was almost a little awkward. Shredder didn't want any part of that. He was just farming up in the lane as the Invoker. Is he going Exort? Okay, he has the Sunstrike able to be invoked, so I guess he didn't really care. That's why he just stayed back farming. One of the benefits of going Quas Exort. So Shredder staying with the old school, and mid lane we see 3 last hits here on Jenkins. Going to get put under once more. Squeeze 10 and 9 right now, so he is having a very dominant performance, coming off of what, a 13-0 and 6 Invoker in last game. So look for Squee to maybe just carry this game.
Yeah, he's warmed up. He's got the keyboard ready to play, and that's exactly what he's going to be doing in this game. Of course, the damage is going to start shifting the way of Shadow Fiend here if Squee can't keep getting off these Astral Imprisonments. But even if Shadow Fiend isn't losing damage to these Astrals, it's just giving more and more to the OD. And I don't think Shadow Fiend is typically known for his intelligence. So once those Sane's Eclipses start flying out, things might start getting hairy. Another unstable concoction to hit onto Tabo, and there is an Astral Imprisonment to give a little bit more to Squee.
Yeah, really good sense by Squee. He was playing extremely defensive, like over on this side, only creeping in this way to maybe get a last hit. So he sees the gank coming. They know, Wind Ranger went down. The supports, of course, are going to roam right after that. So really good sense, potentially by Squee, but also it could have just been really good communication between the team.
Was it a smoke gank? Because there's a ward right here.
Yeah, it was a smoke gank, of course.
Okay. Yeah, so great communication. Unfortunately, not so much now as Watashi going to get stunned up in the middle of an acid spray. The Sunstrike isn't on top of it, but the body blocks are there.
Mid lane, though, Jenkins in trouble. Smoke gank the other way. He might be able to take one out. He doesn't. As the two supports, the Venge and the Visage, they get quite low, but it's going to be... Actually, Visage gets the kill, so Squee not feeling too bad about that. Able to finally... He was barely able to get off the Astral Imprisonment, which let the Visage and the Vengeful Spirit catch up for the Magic Missile.
Yeah, that's unfortunate to say the very least. And he's going to get Astraled immediately. Unfortunately, those supports aren't there to pick up the extra slack there. That might have been able to be turned into a kill again, but supports are all the way back at the Tier 1 tower. And Jenkins is just going to farm up those souls that he missed really quickly. He's got a free lane right now, and the tower is working in his favor. So some good creep control by him, already back up to 12 souls, and is looking to build on that. Bottom lane, though, relatively uneventful as of now. Not much happening. Both heroes just last hitting as best as they can. And surprisingly enough, No Snitching is coming out on top and denying the Darkseer very well.
Yeah, I mean, they had strong supports to deal with him. The stun as well as the burst damage from the Visage, which is quite long range, so he's got to be careful. Factor Fiction, he's about to hit level 5, and even though Watashi was died twice, he's getting very good experience. He's got 12 CS as well, so he's tied with the Darkseer. And both of those kills that Bag of Chips has, it went to the Rubik, who's still only level 3, so at the end of the day, how big of a deal is that really that Wind Ranger has died?
Well, Wind Ranger, I mean, you're looking for a Wind Ranger to be a good, decent semi-carry, semi-support with good farm. If she's dying, then she's just slowly losing gold and not able to keep up with the pace, and that's going to be a very weak Wind Runner coming into the later portions of the game. Really, her effectiveness comes from playing from ahead or playing from a good XP advantage. If she's dying, she's not getting that XP advantage. So
Well, she is, though, because she's getting so much XP from the creep wave, stealing it from the jungle. She's being a little reckless. You have a good point, though. She's losing that gold, and you do expect your Wind Ranger to get items.
Well,
but
she's
who knows?
Gonna get
Maybe
that
she
right
was...
back. She gets a kill out on the Rubik in the top lane. While we're talking, the power shot does land. There was a magic missile to set that one up. And that's going to be flying from the Visage, who... We have seen a lot of talk recently about her lore with Skyrath Mage, a lot of interesting stuff.
Like a broken record.
Yeah, and I'm really digging into that one. They've got a good story going on there. But
did people not know that? I thought that was like common knowledge. As Visage in a bit of trouble takes a Sunstrike, one more attack here from Tabo, or anybody should do it, going for the long range raise. Oh, but he's gonna get put under. Can't get the kill there. And that's Squee, I guess, at least, you know, not letting Jenkins pick up a free kill, which is nice. He's actually going to drop the hammer there. Tabo will go down here. Squee maybe can even pick up a point in Arcane Orb if he gets a... I thought he maybe was going to level off of that, but he doesn't quite. He's got another Astral Imprisonment if he can have some vision. It is nighttime, of course, here at 6 minutes and 50 seconds. As Game Blouses will actually find the Shadow Fiend, has the Magic Missile. Might even be able to get a solo kill here. Just one more attack. Okay, maybe more than one. That agility will give him some nice armor. As it's nighttime, does get the stun off the lift from Rubik. The vision was there. The Sunstrike gonna fall. Game Blouses will drop here. Squee, though, still fighting, right-clicking for quite a bit, about 100, even with that Fable. Here comes Visage, though, will have the damage. Nusham dying without a doubt. Squee gonna hand him over the kill. Good sense by Krygar to hand it over. Tabo now in some trouble. Actually make that Krygar on the Visage will go down. Can he get the Soul Assumption off? He does. He hits Jenkins with it, and I think with that, Squee will go ahead and get out of there. Maybe not. Finds an Invis.
Oh man, this is a never-ending fight happening right now. But it looks like he's not gonna. No, he's definitely gonna go on Tabo with this invis. There's the Astral. The auto attack damage alone should be enough to pick up the kill. He's got no mana right now. Being smart, walking the long way home, but there is no way for him to get back quickly. Can the juke work? It looks like the juke will work, and Ottawa Devourer has no idea where he is. Oh man, the Juke City coming out from the Alchemist. Meanwhile, Shredder, with a brilliant shackle, will go down to the Wind Ranger. And now, I think it's safe to say she's pretty much caught up.
Yeah, I mean, we're disagreeing here. I didn't think she was that far behind. She was about a level and a half ahead of the other offlaner. Sure, she died twice, but Rubik got the kills. Who really cares? Rubik is, well, I guess he's level 5 now, which is pretty decent. But Wind Ranger, with those early levels now, she's pretty much maxed out. Shackle Shot and Power Shot is at rank 4.
I guess you're right. I mean, I was comparing her to the fact that she was only one level on top of the Rubik when I was looking at her. But you could be right. You could be right that she was still caught up with the XP. But the gold definitely was a deficit that she has closed the gap on thus far, with 2 solo kills going her way, making up for the 2 deaths, giving good contribution. It's right now 5-5 at 9 minutes. A 1-game advantage to Los Meepos Hermanos, but definitely signs of life from bags of chips and, oh god, what is this? BCP. Pepperoni, thank you.
Just stick with BCP. BCP. Said you're never going to say it again.
I keep forgetting. I'm awful at this. I want to say the full name because it's how I do things. And
is under attack.
Whatever. So,
like
yeah.
A broken record.
BCP. They are hanging in this game, and it looks like these early fights, they are definitely a huge contender in. Let's see if they can, as opposed to last game, take it late and start being more controlled in some of these team fights that happen as towers start to fall.
Yeah, well, let's not forget about no snitching here on the Bristleback. He's got 40 last hits right now. He finishes up his Vanguard, so he's going to be a pretty big threat. We saw how much just the Visage as well as the OD were able to draw out a fight. Imagine if Bristleback was actually there. I think maybe everyone from BCP could have died. But that being said, Darkseer has really accelerated his farm, and he's almost got his mech.
I was going to say, on the same token, we still have yet to see the vacuum set up into anything from the Darkseer, as he's been in the same position as the Bristleback, just sitting, getting farm, and looking to get some good harass actually in the no snitching, despite there being the Bristleback. That Iron Shell is still doing a bit of damage. I'm talking right through this fight on the top lane, where Watashi actually picks up a 3rd kill, and now a Soul Assumption to fly, but they're going to get a return here as Game Blast in the middle of the Acid Spray will give up a kill to the Invoker.
I think the Forge Spirit was able to get the kill, but Squee, I saw him running down to pick up that double damage, and it looks like he put it to use. Yeah, Yeah, wait, what? What just happened there? I'm a little confused too. Was that a double kill for... No, OD picks up, activates the double damage, kills the Shadow Fiend. Invoker, yeah, Invoker just died up top. I'm losing my mind, apparently. But Squee, once again, 3-0-1. He might even get another kill here on the bottom. Gonna drop his ultimate. Sanity's Eclipse goes out. Can maybe switch to Strength Shreds. I don't think Squee even needs to use his... Yeah, he's fine. Could maybe just TP out. But that kill in the top lane, Tabo was able to pick up 1. He hits level 6 off of that, and suddenly, with Chemical Rage, he will be a little harder to bring down.
Oh no. Oh no. It looks like Jenkins trying to pick up a kill, but is going to end up feeding himself as he missed 2 raises so far. The damage is stacking up. Hits the 3rd raise, but it's not enough to pick up the kill. Here comes Factor Fiction trying to make things happen. Won't get the vacuum off. Only clears trees. Squeeze is going to TP out. Will the Sunstrike happen? It won't happen in time. No Snitching, meanwhile stunned up, but the Bristleback is going to be enough to kill up the Rubik. And now things are starting to look a little iffy. A body block out from Factor Fiction, but no Snitching. That rhymes. He's going to go right past him. Here comes Cryogar, looking to try to make things, settle things out a little bit, be the mediator in this fight. But it looks like the Unstable Concoction is going to go out, and yep, there's going to be the disengage.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Bristleback as well as OD finally get themselves together, and well, they pick off quite a few kills. Luckily, or fortunate for Squee, he's going to get all the kills, so he's 5-0-1 right now. Pretty nice for him. We're past 10 minutes, so switching over to the net worth, as we do see actually Shredder leading the CS at 63 CS, OD at just 53, 52 for the Shadow Fiend, so he's rebounded nicely since earlier, but 5.2k net worth here for the OD.
In the bottom lane, though, no Snitching, itching to look to go on Fact or Fiction. And I have been waiting to say that. It looks like he is going to do it, but the Telekinesis is up. The Sunstrike off the mark. Bob Tabo, though, is in with the Unstable Concoction. Here comes the Astral Imprisonment, the Magic Missile. There's another Astral coming out, this time from Rubik to save his life, but he's going to go down to the Bristles. The Quill Spray immediately following. Meanwhile, Cryogar going to juke out the Unstable Concoction, and that's going to be the death of Alchemist Tabo, not able to secure vision.
Game is hard at night for the poor Alchemist, dodging around that one lone tree as Calfire is going to take some damage and going to get stunned up a little bit by the Cold Snap. Good thing Jenkins landed that, or that Wind Ranger was going to be home free. But good kill there, going the way of Shredder on the Invoker. So right now that Invoker's sitting 3-2 and 3, but in the mid lane, potentially in some trouble. Nusham actually could go down here, squeeze one more attack, maybe make it 2 more. Nighttime, though, once again, an enemy of these sort of maneuvers. I think Squee's going to be able to get the kill, though. TP's coming in. Can he get it? One more. Will get it. Stun up on Tabo. I think Squee's going to be able to take that out. Will even drop the hammer. Misses Factor Fiction, but he's got a lot of intelligence anyway. Squee just going to stand at the man fight. Wall is dropped here. Vacuum used up as well. Squee's still alive. Mac is on cooldown. He puts himself under, which is actually going to kill him, unfortunately for himself.
1,000 gold goes to Shredder because of that. His Game Blouse is going to die because of it, too. The Sunstrike did proc the Cold Snap, but there isn't enough damage. The raise does hit, and they get the attack. Shredder picking up a double kill and picking up with it the slack that his team left down. And now they're going to make the look to go on no Snitching, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to catch up to him fast enough. The OD going down, though, was big enough. Giving a double kill to that Invoker is really something you don't want to do.
Yeah, indeed. And it does actually have that Midas. He's had it for a while because, of course, he is going Quas Exhort. Now he's got that 1 point in Wax, pretty much at the minimum time when you're going to do it immediately. A lot of people will just maybe put more in Exhort. But no, wants some more spells in his arsenal. But we got no Stitching, going to be lifted up, still trying to chase here. Stun from Tabo will go out onto the Vengeful Spirit. Stitching, I think, is a little in over his head right now, going to try to run out towards the enemy territory and then loop it back around. So still alive, finds himself with the mechanism. Squee does not have his ultimate for another 80 seconds, and I think that's enough to disengage as we see Wind Ranger still just farming top.
Yep, and Visage is actually going to make it go on this tower, and Jenkins going in to get the deny, but might immediately regret his decision. No, he's just he's sitting through the familiar damage, so going to be able to walk away from that. Great deny on his part, but the stick charges and the mechanism on the Bristleback are way too strong. And does Game Bosses know that Tabo's there? I guess not. Didn't throw out the Wave of Terror. I was going to say Scream of Pain, but that's a different hero.
Close enough.
She does have the
Not
Screox
really.
Talon, though, which is, if you read the description, I just recently noticed this one, is very interesting to that horror lore thing. That whole,
Whoa, did you just call her a whore? Get out of here.
whole
Vengeful Spirit
lore
is a
thing.
saint.
I was messing up the names. The whole lore thing that's going on between her right now, especially in lieu of Valentine's Day. Pretty interesting. For those of you who don't know, I implore you to read up on the lores of the heroes, especially that one. They all are very interesting. And I've been on a kind of a lore binge recently, getting into the know of all that stuff, and I'm really enjoying it. I think they did a good job at thinking it all out, and my only regret is that their Anti-Mage and Terrorblade are no longer brothers.
Yeah, and also there's some other relations that didn't quite hold through either. As you mentioned, you've brought up the lore Vengeful Spirit. There was Mortrid, the Phantom Assassin, was also related to them. But Factor Fiction in the top lane in trouble a little bit here. Power Shot gonna go out. Doesn't look like it did any damage, but it looked like it hit. Squeeze shows up, you know. Nice timing. Gonna just go ahead and pick up the kill as his team did all the work for him. And his ultimate is up. This could be a devastating fight if Bag of Chips and Pepperoni aren't careful about it.
That's going to be the name of the game right now. Squeeze shows up, and now they're going to make it go on to Tabo. It looks like Shadow Fiend in a different part of the map picks up the Vengeful Spirit, and with the Ice Wall actually is going to give a good reason to, or give a good incentive to run away. It allows them to get ahead in that engagement. So now is going to be the disengaged Squee making his way towards the middle lane. And this could turn into a, and then Squeeze shows up moment for Jenkins. No, he's going to back up, so he should be fine. Of that, Nusham actually going to walk in. Can he get his Disrupt off before? No, he cannot. Tabo charging up the Unstable. Doesn't have vision. Won't have vision for a very long time. He's going to stun himself up in a very bad position. There is the Sanity's Eclipse. They did have vision of him at the end. Power Shot on a Nusham. The one auto attack will be enough to bring him down. And now No Snitchin' with the rest of his team all alive and ready to go down the mid lane. Wave of Terror trying to figure out where Shredder is, but is not long enough for that. Sunstrike, no, that was a Magma Forge Spirit going down there, so.
Yeah, and I just did some quick calculations. No, I didn't. That's a bold-faced lie. But I just checked the difference in intelligence between Darkseer. He's got, what is it, 61 right now compared to about 90, or a little over 100 right now for Squee. So Squee, even though Darkseer is an intelligence hero, that Sanity's Eclipse should still do a lot to him. And I was going to follow that up with, I don't know if Squee should have used that there. Sure, it led to the killing the Rubik, but now if a team fight breaks out, you're not as guaranteed to drive it home with the damage coming out from that.
Oh, there's your disjoint on the Unstable Concoction for Bristleback. Don't know if he needed it per se, but it's still very good. And one thing I'm actually noticing right now on No Snitching is whenever he gets close to the Auto Devourer, he can just keep sending out Quill Sprees and Nasal Goose. He has infinite mana.
Yeah, it's definitely nice. That's a really good combo. That was their first 2 picks as well, so that was definitely revealed. Slightly better than I'd say the Crystal Maiden aura, but
no,
that's also not too bad.
But yeah, no, I did not see that going in. I wish I had, because that is a really interesting mechanic going on right now that's making sure that Bristleback can just keep being active in these fights. He never runs out of spells.
Yeah, that's actually terrifying, and both of those are really, again, scary heroes that kind of need focus. And, you know, OD's fairly squishy for a lot of the game, but he's starting to tank up. He's got drums, he went treads, he's got an Ogre Club. He's not really too worried about massing up the intel because he is, I think, the highest level in the game at 14. So he's going to be able to put some of his skill points into stats, as he's only got one more to spend on his ultimate here. And I think BKB is on the docket for him.
Right, so I'm addressing some questions in chat right now. Denial did face a forfeit win, as AAO had 2 disconnect.
Mid lane though, fight's breaking out. No Snitchin' might be brought down, so he can't really cast spells, but the mechanism will save him. Tambo is going to live through the Chemical Rage. As I think that's going to pretty much discourage BCP from fighting out the rest of this.
There is a haste route on Squee though. He goes in for the Astral, but not really looking to follow up as Jenkins is making his way towards the mid lane. Really quickly though, because I don't want to overdo time, but yeah, due to the storm, AAO did forfeit, so Denial will not be playing tonight, and Swag I don't think are playing tonight either. So yeah, just a little quick update on that. Going back to the game, definitely a nice little engagement there. And now it looks like BCP are going to go really risky right now and go for the Roshan. They do have the minus armor that will make taking it out easy. Well, at least they would if they had Acid Spray, but they do not have the Acid Spray available. Jenkins, though, with the double damage and presence of the Dark Lord, is making quick work of it, and it doesn't look like Los Meepos Hermanos have any idea of what's going on. And there's the Acid Spray. And
Squee just TP top. I don't know if they saw that. Maybe not. Just hoping that someone went back to heal. So with that dire advantage, and it is BCP who asked to be on the dire side for game 2. They were also on it in game 1, but you know, some of the advantage, the other team out of position, not really expecting it. With the armor reduction, of course, coming out from Alchemist as well as Shadow Fiend, they take it quickly. Double damage helps as well, and they look to push down the middle tier 1.
Yeah, this is definitely a closer game than game 1, too. I mean, it's still within 2,000 gold advantage. It's at the 5,000 where it was last game in the XP advantage, but we saw last game how it just shot up so quickly for Los Meepos Hermanos, and now it's relatively even for gold. So I'm thinking that BCP have shown up to this game a little bit more prepared. They definitely looked a little weak in some of the team fights, but overall are still farming up effectively, are still getting some levels, and now they are in good contention to take this game and maybe go to a game 3, but it's up to them. It's their game to win right now, as they're trying their best to just overtake what seems to be the unkillable Los Meepos Hermanos.
Yeah, they definitely still have the strong wombo combo. It's going to be really hard to break into the high ground versus the Acid Spray, Fade Bolts, you know, Ion Shells, Vacuum Wall Threat, Invoker with Tornadoes now. I mean, pretty much every hero is going to make it hard to push into the dire base right now, but I think working the picks, which is about what's going to happen here in the middle lane. He's the only one around for miles. It's Nusham, and he disappears.
That was no contest. He just vaporized. That was a beam me up Scotty moment. Just gone. 2 seconds, gone.
Yeah, but this Wombo combo, they're going to be hard-pressed to get it off with the Astral Imprisonment as well as the potential to shackle two of them together. If Los Meepos Hermanos are getting the position and they need, I don't know if this Wombo combo is ever going to happen. We haven't really seen it yet.
Well, we might see it once, and all it needs is one instance of it to happen, and then you start seeing big items come out. That's all they need, is to get it one time. When you're this close in Golden XP, then those little fights, those little team wipes, and I say little, but I mean team wipes, can change the course of a game in either direction. So they're looking to get that off. The moment they do get it off, if they do get it off, it's going to be an insane moment in this game. And now Squee actually could take a fall here, ask himself out of the Unstable Concoction, but there's nothing left to follow it up. And, well, a well-timed Requiem of Souls is able to clean that up. No snitching. Can he get the damage done? No, they cannot. He TP's out with what looked to be less than 100 health, maybe less than 50.
Yeah, it was not a lot, so I thought maybe if the team was going to converge on the OD there, he could have maybe dropped the Sanity's Eclipse and they could have turned the fight, but it didn't happen. They just let him die. It's okay. Fortunate enough for no snitching. He uses his Black King bar. It's not great, but at least he lives for it. So, you know, some trades, I guess.
Going back to that
10-second charge is pretty nice, though.
I don't think he was going to be able to get off the Sanity's Eclipse. It looked like he tried, but that was just too well of a timed
yeah, he was standing on the center of the Requiem of Souls, which I think is the highest dealing damage spell in the game if you're in the middle of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's 120 damage per how many?
120 times 19? 18.
Yeah,
yeah.
There's a wave of damage every 2 souls, so yeah, it's 18 times 120 damage. Well over 1,200 damage coming out. I think it's safe to say it's probably close to 2,200 damage coming out in one burst instance. That's more than enough to take on Odie, who has 1,400 or 1,500 health, even with magic resistance. But yeah, we saw there he had to commit the Astral Imprisonment to get away from the Unstable Concoction, or he was dead. So he was just hoping that he'd have enough time to drop the hammer after that, and he just didn't. Tower going to go down. No snitching, trying to deny it. Ends up making it easy for Junkins, and he could actually fall with the Cold Snap, doing a lot of damage. There's a swap. Not able to get a Sunstrike off. They still have vision of him. Is he going to go for it? They are. Can it hit? It does, but it's not enough damage.
A bristleback, pretty tanky, will live through it even with the Forge Spirits chasing him, and of course the Forge Spirits giving some vision there to Shredder, so he's able to land it. Nicely done. Unfortunately for him, it wasn't quite enough. He's going to be actually going back to base to get some mana. Meanwhile, Factor Fiction here defending in the bottom lane, and TP going to come in. They know Squee is here, being annoying and split pushing. They want to try to gank him up, send him back a little bit more. He's 10, 2, and 5, so no deaths in the first game, and he's only taken 2 here.
Yep, actually, so BCP have gotten themselves a really good gold advantage now, 3,000 in their favor, and 2,500 in XP. They're pulling this game into a position where they can win it. With BKBs coming out, OD is going to start to be a little bit less of a problem. Alchemist still very low on farm, so we probably won't be seeing one from him anytime soon. But overall, I'd like to mention that the Bristleback, the Sunstrike, it is a weird interaction where the Sunstrike, as long as your back is facing the Invoker, even if it's just a Sunstrike from the opposite side of the map, if your back is facing Invoker, it will mitigate the damage.
Yeah, it just makes it pretty strong.
Yep, and now a re-engage. Junket's going straight on in. Immediate Astral Imprisonment into the stuns from the Familiars. Not able to get his BKB off. He's going to go down before anything else said and done. He does have an Aegis, though, which is fine. The hammer gets dropped, immediately kills the Rubik there. And now Jenkins looking to get out Stage Eclipse, will get it out. Not doing a lot of damage, but does get the slow out. Does get the damage reduction. No Snitchin trying to make a return on that. He ends up getting the kill straight up. Here comes Rubik back on into the fight. The Soul Assumption to fly onto Tabo, not doing enough damage. But Darkseer, Rubik, and Shadow Fiend are the collateral, or are the kills of that fight. Rubik actually buying back and not able to get much out of that. There's a magic missile onto Tabo. Stun, chains up the Unstable Concoction. Can he get a kill? There is a swap. Ends up throwing it out. They do get the kill. Tabo still alive, but not anymore. Cryogar looking to make a return on that. Will not get it. Meanwhile, Nusham is actually going to pick up the Bristleback with the help of Shredder coming back into that fight. They turn around what seemed to be a 4-0 to a 4-4 now, as Shredder picking up a ton of kills, and that is now sitting 5-2.
Yeah, just, team. I don't know how long they've been together, but maybe a lack of communication there. Some unrestrained aggression. They just kept going for it, and like you said, it was 4-0, and suddenly it was 4-4 even trade. They did take away the Aegis. They didn't really gain anything from that in terms of objectives, and I guess if we look at the graph later on, we'll see that. They lost a lot of... I'm pretty sure that was just in favor of BCP anyways, but I still think it's anyone's game going to come down to a big team fight.
Yeah. As I said earlier, one 5-man wipe is all it's going to take in either direction to shift this game into a bad position for the team at the receiving end. And in terms of teams that can get that 5-man wipe, both teams have a really good potential for it. You've got Los Meepos Hermanos, who can catch one guy out of position and kill him quickly and then go and pick off the other 4, or get a big Sanity's Eclipse to do an entire team wipe right off the bat. Meanwhile, you have a team like CVP or BCP with the Vacuum, with the Unstable, with a Requiem of Souls, 36 souls on that will be coming out soon, with a Invoker who's gone for more damage than anything. It could be really scary if you're on either team if you get caught in a bad position. And I think that's going to be the name of the game going on into the 30-minute mark and beyond, is positioning, is setting up those team fights, and is mitigating any bad position that you get yourself into.
Yeah, and actually going back to the other team fight, the Sanity's Eclipse from Squee was kind of off the mark. It hit a Rubik who might have actually already been dead, or just maybe killed the Rubik. And then Invoker, it caught him a bit. He was under at the time, and he's got a lot of intelligence, so it didn't even do that much damage. Had they used it when Jenkins respawned, maybe, even though he had the BKB, I think the next team fight will probably go Los Meepos Hermanos' way again, as long as they're not being caught completely off guard, and they can save that Sanity's Eclipse. Hit a couple more people, be a little more effective with it.
Right, so both teams are just staring at each other from the opposite end of the river, or not the river, but staring at each other from wherever you can say the opposite ends of. Roshan is going to respawn right about now, and they're making their way in. There isn't vision to spot them out, but I mean, come on. Those Meepos Hermanos have to know what's going on. They make no attempt to go for it, though. It looks like drawing on the map a little bit. They don't even have a means to check it right now. They're not throwing out the wave of terror at all. And this is going to be a free Roshan. Going again another Aegis to Shadow Fiend, and that's a problem. We saw how much the Aegis did in the last team fight. Imagine now with a team that has more items, has more potential. This could be an issue for Los Meepos Hermanos if they don't keep an eye on that Roshan.
Yeah, it does look to be the turning point in the game right now after that team fight up top. Went a little south. You know, maybe if they didn't, if 4 of them didn't go down at the end of that on the side of Los Meepos Hermanos, maybe that Roshan could have been theirs. But still, being on the dire side of things, it's gonna lend itself to BCP picking that up. It is only the second one, so no cheese online. But as soon as they deny the Aegis from Jenkins, he just goes and gets himself another one. As that Rosh must have been fairly short, around 8 or 9 minutes.
All right, it looks like both teams are ready. They want to engage on this fight. And actually, Jenkins, if he gets caught up by the Venge, will not get caught up by the Venge. But he could have been in a lot of trouble there. As we noted at the beginning, the pickoff potential of Los Meepos Hermanos. There's a focus fire going onto the mid tower. They're trying so hard to get this fight rolling. But it's going to be up to either team to really get the ball going. There is a swap. Shredder going to be swapped out. Here comes Wrecking the Souls of back.
Oh!
All in. The Meepo, the fly. This is so much damage coming out. The hammer gets dropped, but it does absolutely nothing. 4 heroes down for nil. There goes Snitchin'. That's going to be the name of that fight right there. A 5-man wipe. Oh, man.
Yeah, well, you talked about it earlier. It only needs to happen once, and it certainly happened there. That was perfect. That was a 4, maybe even 5-man vacuum concoction right on top of Jenkins' Requiem of Souls, and with that, I think that, not that, I don't even know if there was a coffin constructed. That might have been the coffin and then driving the nail through it in that team fight.
Well, the coffin was the Requiem of Souls, the nail was the vacuum. And now this tier 2 is going down. We mentioned the 1 5-man wipe was all it took. Here's momentum, here's the drive, and BCP are in a great position to take this to a game 3, already up onto the high ground, to swap out onto the Rubik, but that is going to mean, yeah, that's not a swap to help you, it's a swap to hurt you. And now Visage getting Vortex up, are they going to be able to make a kill on him? This is a really bad position. They've already lost a 5-man wipe, but there is the Shackle hitting onto Junkin. Shredder, though, going to pick up the kill on Visage. Windrunner not able to finish off Shredder. Will the Orchid be enough? It will. And now...
Yeah, Watashiwa trying to get back to his base. Jenkins going to blink forward. Squeeze going to put him under, so Watashiwa will live. He's actually going to take out Tabo, so a bit of a dive here. Jenkins will go down. Of course, he's got the blink dagger to get out of this. He even buys up a TP, so he's going to blink straight for the trees, potentially. Squeeze already heading over there in preparation, but it's actually just going to be a BKB and a TP out. So nice sense from Shadow Fiend Jenkins to buy the TP from the enemy base.
That was very weird on their part. They've split up so often. They had a perfect opportunity to at least take out the tower, and they just kind of chased heroes, and they paid for it with 2 kills, a used BKB charge. But, I mean, of course, and a used Aegis, mind you, but still, that wipe went their way, and the items may start coming out. Well, let's take a look at the net worth right now, and because of that, Invoker and Shadow Fiend have a great position at the top. Taking a quick look at the graph, and it has dropped well below 10,000 gold and XP advantage in favor of BCP. The tower is going to go down the opposite direction, though. That's going to be another 2,000 gold going the way of Los Meepos Hermanos. But all it's going to take is another one of those team fights, and now that they're ahead right now, BCP have a better opportunity to set those up. Yeah,
it looks like both teams, I don't know, staying as 5 as you might expect. Well, especially Los Meepos Hermanos. They know that they need one more big team fight to get back into this, or maybe try to get a pick off and then grab some more objectives in terms of towers, maybe find themselves a rack. Shredder is the closest target, but he's going to be able to get away, as I think now the rest of Bag of Chips grouping up. Besides Jenkins, he's in the bottom lane. He does have a teleport scroll on his person, so he can get back here pretty soon. In the mid lane, though, Squeak going to get jumped on immediately. He does get the BKB off. Sanity's Eclipse is online, and they might be able to get one here. It should be Shredder. Shredder's actually going to BKB up. Vacuum has been used. Factor, Fiction, Mini Stun. That's going to be enough. He will be brought down by the Quill Spray from the Bristleback eventually. Jenkins should probably cancel that. He does. No one quite around for it. So they get the pick off on the Darkseer, and well, that could maybe make the high ground easier to break here, as Tabo's going to get swapped back from game. Blouses, he will go down, and there's enough to discourage the pursuit, but I think they're still going to be able to get Shredder here. The Shackle doesn't land, but the mini-stun might have just been enough. Tornado will catch a couple. Magic Missile does manage to make it through. Game Blouse is almost two-shot by Jenkins. Now they're in trouble. There's the wall. There's the vacuum. Darkseer did buy back because, of course, it was available. So Los Meepos Hermanos, again, good pickoffs, but they just couldn't tone down the aggression, and they find themselves diving, overextending, and this right here could potentially be the game, although Squee on the OD does have that buyback.
Definitely, and we saw at the beginning of that fight, Los Meepos Hermanos doing what their lineup does best. Hold on, Watashi is actually going to get shackled up by the Rubik. Oh man, she's going to drop here. But going into that fight, it was exactly what they wanted. They got the pick off, and then they just started taking down heroes one by one. Unfortunately, once they started getting up onto the high ground, things went south for them as there was way too much return fire. A double buyback, actually, on the side of Los Meepos Hermanos. It's going to be used in an effort to defend their base, and that's exactly what's going to happen. But there are still two tier 2s left standing, so those could be the targets for BCP going into the 35 to 40 minute portion of this game. And it looks like actually some familiars will fall here. Both of them going to Jenkins. No, only one. He doesn't see the other one.
Well, he does have an Eye of Scotty, so that's going to help him out. One of the less common, but still fairly common Shadow Fiend items, as you can build a lot of things on this hero. And as it looks like we might have some downtime. Well, there's a smoke gank up here, and as these guys head top, maybe we'll hold off on that. Shredder, I think, is going to be able to escape, and this could be, once again, a pretty far dive in.
The first sight is going to be a tornado. No, he doesn't. He's actually got it off on cooldown. Didn't have mana for it anyway. So yeah, if he got caught out there, he probably was going to die. So a good awareness from him, getting back when he needed to. Of course, even if these were dire wards, which I was originally going to say they were, but they're not, the sentry does not reveal smoke. So he had no idea other than purely being aware of heroes that were missing off the map in his positioning. So Squee is actually going to get behind the enemy team. There's a swap out. Magic Missile going down. There's the BKB. Wrecking Missile is being charged up. No Snitch is actually going to take the full force of that one. BKBing after it flies and now taking a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Squee looking to get the damage out. Drops the hammer. Jenkins in a lot of trouble. Will fall here, but that second hit of Requiem deals so much damage. Now the Sunstrike off the mark, but it shouldn't be a problem as the Astral Imprisonment sealing the fate of the Outer World Devourer. Meanwhile, Shackle misses out on Tabo. OD falls in the background. No snitching, running away, got great movement speed with that Warpath, but that's going to start coming off soon. The tornado does fly, it does not hit. Shredder, though, is moving way too fast at that move speed. I didn't quite catch what it was, but he should fall here with the Unstable Concoction to go down. No, there's a beautiful Shackle coming out from Watashi's in the trees. Can they get this kill? No, it looks like the auto attack damage is way too much. BCP Tabo is looking to try to make a go on this. Here comes Factor Fiction with the vacuum, the Sunstrike off the mark, but the vacuum is on the mark. Shredder looking to make a go on to Watashi there. There's the Cold Snap. Should be able to get the kill on there. Here comes the Forged Spirits, and it didn't even matter as Nushem was coming in from the back lines. The Fade Bolt was the one, or was the ability to pick up the kill there, and there is a 3-for-1. Kill secure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that evens up the score at 29-29, but the game is, of course, anything but even. Looking at the graphs, 14,000 gold advantage. I mean, as much as Los Meepos Hermanos felt ahead in the early game, they were only ever 4,000 gold ahead, as well as 5,000 XP, which is decent at the time they had it, starting around 10-15 minutes. But now it's been all BCP since about the maybe 25-minute mark, when I think the Meepo brothers started to make a couple questionable plays, and against a lineup that's extremely hard to push into, and they failed to push a couple times. There was that beautiful wombo combo, and it really just turned the game pretty quickly.
Wombo combos tend to do that, and that was a beautiful setup for them. Now Meepos Hermanos are down a Rax. They're looking to try to make a go on this, but every single team fight attempt for them has ended up poorly. They've gotten kills, but they've gotten sloppy towards the ends of the fights, and ended up giving away more than they've taken. So with one ranged melee Rax down in the mid lane, they're going to start getting pressured up. Roshan's up in about 30 seconds, pretty much 30 seconds exactly. There's a timer actually spawning up, confirming my timing. And that's going to mean another Aegis for the Dire if Los Meepos Hermanos don't go ahead and defend this. And even if they try to defend it, we've been seeing time after time that Saints Eclipse, the hammer that lowest Meepo, the Meepo brothers have just isn't doing enough damage. Junkins getting slowed up in the mid lane. Meanwhile, converged on in two directions. There's a swap. And, well, he's actually going to turn the other cheek and go ahead and TP. The BKB actually coming off before the TP can finish. He's going to blink, though. This is the laziest juke I think I've ever seen. But now he's going to start backing up. There's the Astral again. Will he be able to get away from this? The Acid Spray prevents any further blinks, but it was on cooldown anyway. He's going to fall here, but there is the engagement coming in from his teammates. Actually going to turn around as the Shackle, 400 damage, one swipe from the Bristleback. No snitching is going ahead and getting the kills here, but can't really engage past that. They're going to want to try to go on the tower, but the creep wave isn't there. Instead, they're going to turn their eyes towards the big guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually I saw some big items coming out here. No Snitchin does have that heart, so to quickly run over everyone's items as the Sunstrike will actually scout this out. Actually, so much for items. There's a heart in the Bristleback, namely, and that Scotty that came out, but the buybacks on the two of them. Roche goes down almost immediately, but there's a theft of the Aegis as Darkseer going to come in and snatch it, so that's going to help them out quite a bit. Darkseer does go down here. It will be back up in about 2 seconds. As the combo from Shredder is going to be dropped from the sky with Tashawa still barely alive. Shredder going to pop the BKB, dodging the Soul Assumption. Squee now fending for himself. He's got his ultimate, but it's not going to do a whole lot to Shredder or Factor Fiction. I think Squee can maybe just be in trouble here. He's got his BKB. If he wants to use it, he will use it. He's going to drop the hammer here momentarily. Let's see if he does. Going to put one more under, going back over to Shredder. Let's see if he's going to get the chance. Looks like he had the cheese, because that was, of course, the third row. She's thrown up onto the cliff here, and I think they're just going to be able to bring him down there. As the ult's even stolen, not that that really does anything in this sense, but, you know, going to steal it regardless. And we finally will go down. Darkseer going to get the kill on that one and blink off the cliff in 1 second here.
So they fought without the Bristleback. Darkseer vacuumed the Bristleback up here.
Ah, is that what happened early on?
Yep. Darkseer was on the cliff. He had to TP out. That was like really bad for the Meepo brothers as they were fighting without their big damage dealer. You mentioned how his big items were coming out. Well, he didn't have a chance to use them.
Oh, buyback here by Squeeze. Going to keep the dream alive here as they still have not lost a Rax. They lost a melee Rax in the mid lane. The range one though still standing, and well, let's see if they can catch anybody off guard here. Going uphill, the tornado going to be dodged. Squee, I don't think he saw it coming, but good sense anyways. They will find the Rubik. Let's see if they can get another one as the ice wall will go down. That ability is actually quite strong.
Yeah, that's a decent slow. I believe the slow actually does scale up with, what does it scale up with? Let's take a look. The slow scales with Quas. No.
I believe so. And the slow scales with Quas and the damage goes up. There is damage over time versus Exhort.
So it's actually only got a 80%. I was going to say it only has an 80% slow. It's got an 80% slow. What happens when you've got a 140% slow? Do they start moving backwards?
I think it's just off your original base movement speed and not necessarily... I'm not really sure, to be honest. Dota has many interactions that confuse me, and basically you're really slow. We'll just leave it at that. It is pretty ridiculous. It's got to be...
only go down to 120, I think, so... There's actually a tornado to fly the EMP, but the Requiem of Souls not hitting on anyone. It does hit on Watashi. Here comes the damage flying out, though. It's actually going to be Darkseer and Rubik the first to fall. Venge will go down. Now things are starting to get a little hated for the Meepo brothers. They're starting to take a lot of damage from this. The Unstable Concoction flies out, only hits on Watashi. The Ice Wall doing a lot for the disengage. Where's the Sunstrike? It does hit, but misses everyone. I was going to say it hits the ground, but misses everyone. And now Familiar falling, but that's a 2-for-1 trade right now. And Meepo brothers are actually pushing up to the high ground of BCP.
Yeah, well, I guess Rubik was on the ground there. They picked off Factor Fiction pretty early. Didn't get off his combo at all. Maybe a wall went off, but it wasn't quite in sync with the Requiem of Souls, as we mentioned, that completely whiffed. Only 50 seconds on that cooldown as they continue to push here. This is without Vengeful Spirit. This is without their aura. Squee getting very, very far ahead. He's going to go down here. Bit of a mistake from him, overstepping his bounds. As No Snitching now also going to get lifted. Thrown back down into enemy territory, and he should go down.
That was really greedy on BCP. They were, Los Meepos Hermanos. They were playing where they thought, like, if they had a 10,000 advantage, they could have pulled that off. But unfortunately, they have a 20,000 disadvantage. So they weren't able to do anything in that fight. Despite taking down 2 supports, they pushed their cores onto the high ground, and they paid for it dearly. And now BCP are just going to go ahead and push down the mid lane and suffering no resistance right now, as the buyback is down for Outer World Devourer. Bristleback, let's check on him. He does have buyback, but OD does not. So we'll see where that comes into play. There's a swap, and Unstable Concoction flies out.
Yeah, Game Blouse is trying his best to catch some people off guard. I'm surprised no one died there immediately on the side of Los Meepos Hermanos, but able to get out of there. Nusham going to take a stun. Still, the bottom tier 3 tower stands. The mid-racks, I think, was just cleaned up there by the Shadow Fiend who blinked into the base. And here comes what could be the final team fight. There was a buyback on No Stitch, and he pops his BKB, has the heart, looks to fight. Here comes Jenkins finally after he kills Vengeful Spirit with about 2 shots. Goes over to No Snitch and does the same thing. And don't forget, that guy has a heart. The GG comes out here from Cryogar.
G. What a game coming out from both these teams. And BCP proving that even though they weren't all there for the first game, they do show up mind, body, and soul here for the second one. Got Dota, our good friend Gorgon, does end up picking an item for the grand victory, but it's going to be a 1-in-1 series. We're going to a game 3 coming up, so...
Yeah, and I actually want to mention for any of you watching here, whether it be in-game on the old Season 3 tickets or on stream, Season 4 signups are still online. The registration is open, and you've also got time to get your team at ready status. There's a lot of teams signed up, but not quite as many with a full roster. So make sure to do that. Make sure to go over to CEVO.com and sign up, because, of course, $5,000 in prizes, in prize money minimum, because, of course, we have the crowdsource funding. So make sure to do that. The Season 4 ticket should be announced soon, so look forward to that.
And look forward to the games, too, because, I mean, this was a preseason match and was already hectic. Imagine what the regular season will hold.